All right, perfect, perfect. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? It's your boy Mills from Mill City Boxing, home of the high level pro boxing media, the Fighters and Trainers channel, and most importantly, the People's channel. Double tap the screen if you guys are on mobile devices, and hit the like button if you are on laptops. We got Coach Breadman in the house. Coach, this is the next day after the Jaron Boots and his first round stoppage. I mean, what's
That was a good performance. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just trying to drive somewhere. That's all. Meet my wife and kid. But I'm good, man. Can't complain. I won't complain.
there? It is. There's not much we could do, right?
That's right. That's right. Another day, another dollar.
Big facts, big facts. So yeah, man. Obviously, Philly was in the building yesterday. Big fight for Jaron Ennis as a statement fight at 154 pounds. But what's your reaction to it?
A good performance. He looked good.
Tell me, as far as a lot of people said, hey, listen, he needed I don't want to say a tune-up, but he needed to get his feet wet for this fight. Obviously, as a coach, you want to see your fighter go through some rounds. Do you feel like he didn't get to do that?
Um, you know what, bro? I don't want to nitpick it. If he went too many rounds, they would have said that he went rounds with a guy nobody heard of, and the guy wasn't that good. And then if he gets him out of there in one round, they gonna say he beat up somebody. He did what he was supposed to do. So it's you know how that go, man. I don't want to critique it in that kind of way. The dude was ranked. Ennis didn't rank him. He was ranked by different sanctioning bodies. He's a good fighter. He's not exceptional. You know what I mean? I don't want to turn him into a gorilla. He wasn't an exceptional fighter, but he was a good, solid fighter. And that's the kind of guys you gotta be able to beat, and you gotta have them on your resume to get, to certain places. All of the top guys got them kind of fighters on their resume. Sometimes I think that we get a little spoiled because we act like if we don't know a guy, then that means the guy is not good. And that's not how it works. The dude Talese just got upset by the young man. I'm gonna mess up his name. I can't really pronounce his name, but that dude could fight. You know what I mean? A boss or whatever his name is. That
Abbas,
that
yep.
dude, that boy could fight. You know what I mean? So we gotta be careful with that. Everybody, if you're not sitting down watching boxing all the time and not respecting what they do in other places and things like that, you might not know if a guy could fight or not. Anyway, is one of the best fighters in the world, and we don't know a lot of people that he fought. But when he did fight somebody from over here, look what happened. You know what I mean? So I think that Boots did what he was supposed to do, but it was an impressive victory, and you got to give him credit because every time you get in that ring, you never know how a guy gonna show up.
100%. 100%. Um, you know, Tell me, a lot of backlash due to the fact that it hasn't been a notable name. Um, Obviously Terrence Crawford went through that in his career as well. But
He
tell me,
did. He did. And I just
yep,
find myself defending Crawford's resume all the time, man. In the gyms and with people that know boxing, they be like, man, he ain't fight nobody. He not this, he not that. And I'm like, man, y'all too consumed with the business side. Just look at him and you could tell that he is the real deal. You know what I mean? I've had that conversation with so many people about Crawford, man. It's crazy. It's like deja vu now. And if you look at Crawford's resume at 28 and you look at Boots' resume at 28, I'm not getting into which ones is better or worse, but they kind of similar. You know what I mean? They rather similar. I think Crawford, let me see. So Crawford's 38 now, 28, he was 2015. If you just look at everything up to 2015 with Crawford, they got similar resumes. I don't want to get into who's better because it's stupid, but it's not like that far off. But them dudes is like they special talent. People don't want to go in the ring and get their ass beat by them. So when you a special talent and you not like a Oscar De La Hoya or Canelo, where you could pick and choose who you gonna fight because you generate so much money, sometimes your resume is a little bit thin until you break through. And that's just, sometimes everybody's road is a little bit different. And you got to just be a little bit patient with the resumes with certain guys. You know what I mean? Like Crawford got his two biggest wins at 35 and 37. You know what I mean? Like in other eras, you didn't have to do that, but in this era, it's a little bit slower as far as like the big names for certain people. You know, Demetrius Andre from your neck of the woods, he never got the big names, and then when he got it, you know, David Benavidez happened. Sometimes when you're a little talented and you know you're a black fighter, people don't want to fight you. You got funny style. Sometimes to my opinion, and from what I've seen with certain fighters.
I mean, obviously, now calling all the title holders and, the winner of Virgil Ortiz and Lou, but definitely want to get your thoughts on that fight as well. Do you feel like that's exactly what, is going to happen? I mean, obviously, you're saying that it's hard for Boots to get the fights, is what you're saying?
I just think just overall, I know people gonna have their opinions about who turned down what. I don't like to get into that, man, because we don't know what's going on the business side. We
Yep.
not in them meetings, man. Some managers and some promoters are very clever. They know how to offer you fights and they know how to put things out there for public consumption. And I'm not gonna say who I had the maybe the best manager in the history of boxing, school me on this. Like, let the public believe certain things. You know what I mean? And it's always good that to be to have different things up your sleeve behind the scenes. We don't know everything that go on behind the scenes. All right, I see you then dipped your hat in the management uh uh with Rashidi Ellis, right? And people might say, okay, advising, managing, all is fancy words, but you helping him out, right? It's not as easy as it look, is it? You know what I mean? It's tough.
No.
It's not. So somebody might criticize Rashidi. I'm a fan of Rashidi Ellis, believe it or not. You know what I mean? I remember when a young man fought up in Boston at the House of Blues on one of Julian Williams' undercards 11, 12 years ago. Ask him. I'm a fan of him. I think he's an excellent fighter, right? But somebody might come in and criticize him and you sitting there like, man, if only y'all knew the bullshit that I got to go through behind the scenes to get this dude fights, to get certain things, y'all just don't understand. So me knowing this stuff, I don't comment on that. You know what I mean? Because I have no idea what's going on with Boots management or promotion, nothing. I don't ask nobody personal business because I don't want nobody asking me mine. I don't ask nobody. All I know is is an excellent fighter, but I don't know what's going on the business side, and I know that certain things could be put out there that's not always true. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't walk in the gym like, what happened between you and Virgil, Boots? I don't. Never. What happened with you and T.O.? I don't see. What happened with you and Brian Norman? I mind my fucking business is what I do. But this is what I do know. And all of the fights that people say that he don't want, he'd have been a big favorite in all of those fights. That's what I do know. And hopefully he gets the Virgil Ortiz fight. Hopefully they stuff on the business side is taken care of, and we get to see a great matchup.
Feel like that's the best matchup at 154 pounds, Virgil and Jaron Ennis?
I think that that's the biggest fight as far as the public. Like everybody wants it.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercial. The pay-per-view model is black versus Mexican. That's been selling um ever since I think the first big black versus Mexican fight that I could remember in my lifetime, huge one, was Taylor versus Chavez. Taylor was the gold medalist. Chavez was had the undefeated pretty record, you know what I mean? Unification fight, two undefeated guys, and that was 1990. That's 35 years ago. And ever since then, it's been big black versus Mexican fights. Chavez versus Whitaker, Whitaker versus De La Hoya versus Mosley, Mosley versus Margarito, De La Hoya versus Hopkins, De La Hoya versus Mayweather, Mayweather versus um oh man, who's the Mexican guy Mayweather fought? Marquez,
Marquez.
Mayweather versus Canelo. You know what I mean? Like the black versus Mexican thing, it sells really well. You know, on pay per views, they undefeated. They two punchers. They got high knockout percentages. It's a good selling point. You know what I mean? And so I think it's the biggest fight. I don't know. We know who's the best yet because Fandora is still there. Zayas is still there. The guy who beat Telez, Abbas. We don't know if Ortiz is going to beat Lubin. You know what I mean? He got to win the fight first in the ring. Lubin is a capable, formidable opponent. So we got some dark horses at 54, but hopefully everything gets cleared up because it kind of, honestly, I'm getting tired of this era of boxing of everything marinating to these guys in their 30s. It turns me off. You know what I mean? So hopefully they could fight in the first quarter of next year and it'd be a big fight.
The guy,
Who's the other guy?
Terrence
Crawford.
Crawford.
Well, Crawford's at 168, so he went.
If he's still around. But you've been, there's an interview out there. I think it was with Roy Jones or Andre Ward. Andre Ward. If he would entertain going down to 160. But then you got that big Canelo rematch possibility as well. I mean, you're right. He really still holds those belts at 168.
Um, Honestly, man, I think it's so far away. Like Boots got to clear out at least four young undefeated guys. Bakram, we talk I think it's just too far away unless Turkey and Terrence came up with a master plan to get the fight. I just don't know how we could do that. That's honestly me being honest. And if we do it, Crawford is 38 now. He'd be 39 or 40. I don't even know if Boots will get credit for it.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't.
Because he would possibly be like 40, almost 40. They'll start talking about it like that.
Yeah, they're gonna start saying like I got so many people that's like instead of giving Crawford credit for Canelo, they like Canelo slipped. He wasn't the same. This, that, and the other. And I'm like,
Oh,
come
that
on, dog.
that he needed to get operated
Yeah, and I'm like,
now.
come on, man. When that fight got announced, I was the first person that said Crawford was gonna beat him over a year ago. I stuck with it. The man is older than him. Y'all said Crawford struggled with Madrimov. Y'all said it. Y'all said how he gonna struggle with Madrimov at 54 and beat Canelo at 68. And then when he do it, people move the goalposts. So I don't even want to get into no Boots and Crawford talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got into Crawford and Floyd, and Crawford and Floyd is the same years apart as Boots and Wichicombe. Nobody ever tried to make them fight. So I don't want to get in that because I don't really know if it's possible for them to fight. It would have been great if Floyd would have gave Crawford a shot, but he didn't. And nobody cared. It wasn't like it was a duck. It wasn't a duck. It was like they kind of different eras, even though they fighting at the same time. So I don't really know if it's possible because Boots will have to leave 54, and it's a bunch of work at 54. Crawford will have to come down from 68 and clear out 68, which ain't no guarantee. You know what I mean? It's like too much room. We got to see some more things happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and then and this is the first time that, we got to hear Jerome Boutin say anyone that's in the way, and if Crawford is that guy that's in the way, then yeah.
Yo, hey bro, hold up 1 second. Let me check my WhatsApp. I mean, let me check my Waze app because I'm driving. Give me 1 sec.
Sounds good, sounds good.
All right.
Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet. It's your boy Mills from Mill City Boxing. So yeah, man, we got the reactions. We're gonna be having Bernie the Boxer on next. Most likely we'll be having Greg Crawford should fight Lara at 160. They both old. I mean, there you go. There you go. That's the easy. You think that's the easy title though? I mean, Lara got the most experience at 160 pounds. To be honest, he's like the biggest vet there at 60. Crawford does have that experience sparring Hadamis years ago, but That's a good fight too. Hadamis, good fighter. But then people say that Janabek is the best, 160 pounder, today. Um, but y'all know, I mean, we had Buddy McGirt. He was on with us, and he said that, and but if you don't know, Buddy McGirt used to train, you know, um, homeboy. So at the end of the day, he's saying, nah, he can't beat him either. So it's like, shoot, Crawford goes out, gets his sixth division. Shit. I mean, I think the Canelo Alvarez fight is probably the biggest fight to be made again, the rematch. Even though it's just not I don't know, like we can't see Canelo doing anything better. Like I don't think he could do anything better than what he did. Whether he needed that surgery or not, to be real. But that's just me. But nah, I think that Laura and Crawford, you know what I mean? Laura probably yo, have you noticed? Wait, is everybody at 160 pounds of southpaw as a champion? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I think everybody at 160 pounds that's a champion is a southpaw. I believe so. He said everybody is frozen with Mill City. Nah, nah, nah. What's going on, Coda? What's cracking? Jeffrey, what's going on? Smash that like button. Also, man, appreciate you. Q Q Maze Q Mason. We got a Breadman coming back. We back?
Yeah, man. It's raining out here, man. I'm trying to get to them. I might have to do it one more time, but it's good.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we all good in the chat. If are we frozen? Or are we all good? Are we all clear to go, guys? Because uh, can't Breadman. Yeah, I think everybody's saying that we good. Is everything good with the audio, guys? Because they told me we were frozen for a little bit. I just think that yeah, we good. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, getting into it. Bakram. He came on Twitter, said I'm ready. The least, when it comes down to like popularity, Eddie Hearn did say that the easiest fight to be made is Bakram. Um, Tell me, do you feel like is that the matchup that you think that Ennis would get the credit for? He is a champion, the so-called boogeyman at 154 pounds. Tell me what you think about the matchup if it could be made.
Uh, I think it's a good matchup, but I think he would get more credit for Ortiz because Ortiz is more popular, and that's what the fans seem to want the most. But doesn't mean Ortiz is the best. He could be the best. We don't know yet. You know what I mean? We judging Bakram off of one fight, even though I think that Bakram is a harder matchup for Boots because he can counterpunch. He was counterpunching, but we judging him off of Tim Zoo, and Tim Zoo turned out to be not the guy everybody thought he was. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is fluid. We got to just keep seeing how this go. We got to keep seeing who's willing to fight who. We got to keep seeing, you know what I'm saying, Mills? Like we got to just keep seeing. Like I don't want to judge and start, put my foot in my mouth and get on here screaming and hollering about who's willing to do this. And I don't care about all of that. That get kind of corny to me. I think we just all got to keep saying it's about 6 or 7 dudes that all think that they the best and they got to fight. Xander, Abaz, Fandora, Bakram, Lubin got something to say. Boots got something to say. Ortiz got something to say. So we got to just see. Let everybody figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Jay Wick, thank you for the 5 piece. Gamboa, Amir Khan, Kel Brook, Benavides Jr., Spence Porter, Hank London, style, Boots resume not remotely close. So stop making the comparison. I mean, we're just, I'm asking.
He didn't fight all those people by 28. Dudes just always want to jump around and just start talking and they don't listen. I said by the time they were 28, their resumes was similar. He had Fort Khan and Kell Brook and Benavidez and all of those and Spence and Sean Porter and all those guys by he was 28. Stop his resume at 2015 and the resumes look a little similar. That's why I get a little irritated. I don't like talking boxing with people because jokers always jumping up saying shit and they don't know what they be talking about. I never said Boots' resume was as good as Crawford's. I said at 28 it was kind of similar because both of them had to go through being super guys. Look at me at 28. I didn't say Boots was better. I said they were similar. That's all I said.
Yeah, yeah.
So dude gave you $5 for nothing.
Nah, he
Just
got you.
wanted to be
Nah. He got you where you wanted to be, coach. That's what it was. He's like, yeah, that $5 every cent was worth it. I got him jump. Nah,
all right. Well,
I got you.
send me
I
a buck
got you.
50.
um. So yeah. It's cool that Bakram said that, and I hope that that's the next fight for Boots because I feel like going straight into a title fight, exactly what you know.
You don't want to see Ortiz? I thought that was the fight everybody wanted, and that's the big fight.
I
Like,
actually want to see Ortiz before Bakram for sure.
okay, well, let them figure it out. Hopefully, they can figure it out. You know what I mean? But I don't want to keep talking about Ortiz because he got to beat Lubin.
But
That's
that's
not an
why I
easy
did
fight
it.
for him.
That's why I did it.
That's not an easy fight. Lubin is one of those guys that's stubborn. He won't go away. He won't just say, you know what, I'm going to turn into a gatekeeper or a stepping stone. He's a stubborn guy. And I can remember when he came out the amateurs, people talked about him like, man, this is one of the best amateurs we've had come on the scene in a very, very long time. So let's just be careful with that. I know he's up against it. He got to go to Texas. Got to fight a Mexican from Texas as the B side. You know what I mean? I get all of that. I get he been stopped twice. I get all of that. But guess what? He beat Jesus Ramos. That's another guy that's in the mix. And Lupin is stubborn. That's all I can say. He's a stubborn guy who don't want to go nowhere and who has a lot of self-esteem and he believes in himself. Man, that's very important in boxing. And Lupin got big heart. You know what I mean? I think that the odds is stacked against him. You know what I mean? Not about whether he could win or not, but I just think that everything in this fight is just like so against Lubin. You know what I mean? Like if he try to knock Ortiz out, it probably be tough on him because when he slug, he do get hurt sometime. And if he box, who knows if he gonna get credit for boxing Ortiz and winning the decision out there in Texas because everybody complained when he outboxed Jesus Ramos. So I think Lubin is in a tight spot. And then now that they talking about the Boots and Ortiz fight, bro, money talk. Like Lubin will have to put on the performance of his lifetime to pull this fight out. And I ain't saying he can't do it, but I'm just speaking reality. I know how this game go. And now that Boots supposedly signed a contract and him and Ortiz for next spring, bro, Lubin in a tough ass spot. Like he gonna have to really perform in this fight to win it. So we got to see, man. But I wish that brother the best, man, because I really like Lubin. And I think that he caused some tough breaks, in this game we call boxing. You know what I mean? A lot of guys wouldn't have had to go through the stuff that he had to go through. So I wish him well. You know what I mean? I'm not getting into the winner and the loser and all that. But I wish the kid well, man, because he had a rough road in boxing.
It seems like another fight for Boots, which is a possibility if because you know how the politics of the titles go. Um, he called out Charlo. After the fight. I mean, I think that was a big call out. But what do you think about it per se? Obviously he hasn't been in the ring since Canelo.
I forgot about Charlo. He's still the Ring Magazine champion. So yeah, that's huge. We haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he's still gonna come down to 54. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what's going on or where he's at with his career, but man, Boots and Charlo would be huge. Who knows? That's what I'm saying. Like it's a lot of work at 54. So we gotta see before we start talking about him moving up to 60. He just got to 54. You know what I mean? Like he literally that was his first fight at 54. So I don't think he's gonna leave 54 no time soon unless somebody came up with a crazy bag. But yeah, Charlo's technically still the Ring Magazine champion. So I would be intrigued by that fight
Say Turkey puts together that fight. Is who's the A side you think would be in that fight?
between Boots and Charlo.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't really know, man. Charlo got a bigger name.
Boots is ranked in all the sanctioning bodies at 54.
I think Charlo would be the A side because he's the Ring Magazine champion. And the one thing I know about negotiations in boxing, he can always go back and say, Boots, you never made the money I made against Canelo. I fought the big dog on pay-per-view. So I would say
Nobody would
and,
talk about that. Yeah, that's a good
and,
point.
Boots has never been champion at 154. And Charlo won all four belts at 54. So I would say that Boots that Charlo will be the A side to Boots. Not huge A side, not like an 80-20 type of thing split, but maybe a 60-40 type of split on the pot. I think Charlo would be a little bit the A side thinking about it. I don't think
Yeah.
Charlo would take the fight if he wasn't the A side. You know what I mean? He would be like, man, I'm older than that. He a young boy to me. I paved the way. You know what I mean? Like I paid my dues. I've been undisputed. I fought Canelo. I'm not coming in to the B side to him. And he's the Ring
That's why I
Magazine
said
champion.
Turkey.
Yeah, so he will be announced last. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I'm assuming that Charlo will be the A side if he fought Boots.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that would be definitely a good fight for Boots.
Yeah, but we gotta see, man. You know, Charlo's been off a while. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't know if he will go straight into that. You know what I mean? That would be really risky to go straight into that fight coming off a 2 year layoff.
He would, from the straight, need a tune-up or anything to do that fight for
We'll
sure.
have to see. But if he did, I'll give him major props. That would be big. That would be a big fight.
Elevates the Boots route. Um, you know, Demetrius Andres, right? He used to be signed to Matchroom. He didn't get those names like you was talking about, but he was a two division champion. You know what I mean? And I forget what are the names, but the same thing, right? We have Stanionis, and he was just talking about going on tour. Is that the UK tour? Is that the where Eddie Hearn's from? And does that do anything?
Who you talking about? Boots going on tour?
Yeah, after Boots won, he said, "I'm gonna go on tour," because he's been fighting in Philly. You know.
I don't know, bro. I don't know what that meant. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really know. I didn't even hear him say that, to be honest with you. So I can't really say.
Okay. Okay, I get it. Um, Glazer, thank you for the $10. Boots moved the right way. He knew he wouldn't get any real credit for beating Devin or Teal. The would have really. What do you think? You think they would have and not get the credit for those notable names like a
Um,
Haney or Teal?
I don't know if the fights was realistic because he wanted to move up. You know what I mean? He wanted to move up, and he wanted to move up. You know, he was busting out the seams at 147. I've been around him when he made weight, and he look a little messed up in his face and everything. He don't look good. You know what I mean? So if you can't make the weight, you can't make the weight. Like there's nothing you could do about it. You go into a fight and you're fighting a guy who's a little smaller, a little quicker, and you wind up losing, and then you complain about the weight. People not gonna want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I, despite what fighters say, a lot of them struggle to make weight, and I knew he struggled to make weight. You know, I known him since the amateurs. He was struggling to make 141 when he was having to hold that in the Olympic trials, and 147, the kid just gets big. You know what I mean? I don't know what his diet is, but I see him inside the gym when he don't have a fight. I see him when he do have a fight, and I don't want to like say how much weight that I think he cuts because it'd probably be inappropriate. Fighters get sensitive over that, but I think he cuts a lot of weight. So I don't know if it was possible for him to keep making the weight, man. He did. I will divulge something he said to me. He said to me one day in the gym, he was sparring. They actually was sparring one of my guys, and he was like, "Brad, it was the right time for me to move up, man. Start getting to me." You know what I mean? And he don't really talk like that. You know what I mean? Like man, him, our conversations is a little bit different. And I was like, damn, man, that was deep. He's like, yeah, it was the right time. So he probably couldn't make the weight, man. Making that weight, bro, like that's the only time I'm like overly nice to a fighter. They like start going crazy. Their body is deprived. They don't have no water in them. Like that's a
They
tough time.
hate doing interviews.
Yeah, they mean, they angry, they breath stink because they can't really eat. I mean, they not doing well. Those few days making the fight, making weight, man. So uh if he can't make the weight, he couldn't make the weight. People don't want to hear no excuses. So he can't take the fight and then say, "Ah, man, I couldn't make the weight." But the media is brutal on Boots. They not so brutal on other fighters. You know what I mean? Like, remember Ortiz missed weight a couple of times with Stanionis, couldn't make the weight, got sick. You know what I'm saying? The media didn't kill him the way they would kill Boots if he went in and struggled over weight or whatever the issue is. And when you had enough at the weight, you had enough at the weight. You know, and uh you know, again, I don't really get into the management side. I don't know how real those offers was. I don't know what was said, what wasn't said, but I do know that Boots struggled to make 47, but he wanted to, win the title in the ring and not be called the email champion and all that kind of stuff. So, he stayed around a little bit, but I think 54 should do him good for a couple of years and, we'll see what happens. Now it's time to fight the big fights, you got everything in this division. It's a better division than 47. It's more well-known champions. So here's the time to make your legacy right now and get yourself a nice historical run. You know what I mean? This is the time to do it.
Boots versus all the champions. You think he beats? You think he can clear them all at 54?
Um, what would it be? Bakram, Pandora,
Boss.
Abaz, and Zayas, right? I would think Boots is the favorite over all of them. Abbas is kind of an unknown, but I was impressed with him. Bakram is a really good
Without a
counterpuncher.
title, he's a favorite with all of them.
Yeah, I think he will be the betting favorite on the lines.
Oh, bet yeah.
Uh, I think Bakram is the most dangerous fight because he can counterpunch, and Boots is like sometimes he gets a little offensive, and he'll take a shot or two. He's shown a good chin so far, but anybody could go if you get hit right. And um, Bakram showed that he has a big left hook. But I think that Bakram struggles to make weight. I look at him when he makes weight. I don't think that he could probably hang on the other side of six, if the fight goes late in the fight. Fundora is a wild card, with his length and his height, but I think he's a big target for Boots. I think that he's not twitchy enough. He's a little bit slow. Um uh
Bakram's kind of slow too.
yeah, but he's quick minded with one shot. You feel what I'm saying, bro? He's not fast if we doing flurries, if you running the pads off with flurries, but for one shot, watch that fight with Zoo. That one hook, that one little catch and counter that he does, he's quick. It's a little bit difference between quickness and speed. Quickness is in your mind, speed is in your body. So he's not like fast as if he was running off combinations, but for one shot, he's quick with that shot. You could tell he practiced that shot over and over again.
Right.
Um,
He's
um,
experienced when it comes to the timing of that. Of that.
Yeah, he has impeccable timing. Like Bernard Hopkins wasn't the fastest guy, but his lead right hand, boom, right on the money, man. And then you got Zayas. He's a little young. He looked good in his championship fight, but I don't think he's I don't think he's on the level to fight Boots. I don't think Top Rank would do that right now. You know what? I don't know what they would do. Because things is different now with no TV deals and all that, so you can't really say. But I would think that Boots will be the favorite over all four champions. But that's fluid because if he fights all four of them, who knows how each fight gonna look. But if everybody was matched up today, I would pick Boots to beat all four champions. And I think Bakram
Elaborate.
is the hardest fight.
Elaborate a little bit when you said that Top Rank don't got a network deal, so you wouldn't know how they would go about risking Zayas. He was signed at 16, so
Well, under normal circumstances, you probably wouldn't risk Zayas versus Boots. Boots would be a -5, -600 favorite to beat Zayas right now, to be totally honest with you. And you don't put a young kid in a fight like that against a guy that good. Top Rank got the best matchmakers, the best odds, like in the business. Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler and Carl Moretti, they've been around too long not to know that Boots is a level above Zayas. Let's just be honest. They know that. They can't say it. They're not gonna go out and be like, yeah, this guy gonna beat my guy, but they not stupid. You don't put a 22-year-old kid in there with him under normal circumstances. But I don't know what's going on with the TV. Everything is crazy now. So who knows? Right now, they might get offered a certain amount of money where they have to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I do know that they don't have the ESPN deal no more. So according to your deal, things change. You know, with PBC, you know, it was certain fights wasn't getting made when they was calling the shots. Now fights is getting made. Like, all right, go fight now because you know the platforms is different. The dates are lower. We don't have the luxury to do certain things anymore. So we will have to see. But I will make Boots the favorite over all of them, and I think that Bachman will probably be the toughest fight in terms of danger because he's probably the biggest hitter. He got the most one shot power out of the four champions, and he got the good counter punching. And but I think that Boots will beat all of them.
Keith Thurman can't get a break. October 25th, we're not going to be having him versus Fundora. What's your reaction to the injury of Fundora?
I think it sucks, man. It really sucks for the guys that's on the undercard, man. I just seen Stephen Fulton and he was training and getting ready, man. And we was laughing. I said, man, you're gonna go to the Hall of Fame if you win this fight. And he said, Brad, I'm gonna win. I said, I know you are. You know, and we was laughing and talking. I seen him in Danny Garcia gym last week, man. And I know he's devastated, man. I always say that boxers need some kind of camp expenses insurance, man. You spend all this money in camp and give paying these sparring partners and doing all of this stuff, and then fights get canceled, man. That's tough, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you mentioned Danny, if Danny wasn't doing his own fight, I felt like he would have popped in and did the rematch with Thurman. What you think?
I don't know.
If it was a PBC card?
I think it depends on where Danny's at mentally, man. You know what I mean? I don't think Danny is having any troubles physically, but mentally, you got to be able to get up for these fights. You know, Danny. You know, he talked about some mental health issues he was having. So I would just have to see if he will be up for it because Keith Thurman is a hard fight. You know what I mean? So Danny would have to be like, you know what I mean? He would have to, bro. You gotta want to go through camp, these hard camps. You know what I mean? That's a mental drain. You know what I mean? And um I don't know, man. I don't really know if Danny would have stepped in. I can't really say.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate just to hear that. Even Keith Thurman put out his statement up on Instagram and said we people want to see the doctor's notes, um, because he's
I
just
don't blame
yeah
him because he probably spent a lot of money in camp. I don't blame him for feeling like that. I would be, man. What's it? 2 weeks? I would be aggravated too, man. It's, man. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for feeling that way at all. Like Keith Thurman got a right to feel that way. He probably spent money. He's older. He's sparring. He's flying sparring partners in. He's paying them strength and conditioning and recovery, and then just to not fight in 2 weeks. That's tough, man.
it is it is. But we did get news of Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz going to be happening, and that's a big fight. As far as the public eyes don't really look at it as a big fight, but Pitbull Cruz comes in with a nice little crowd of his own as well. What do you think about that matchup? People like the fact that um, Lamont Roach, he's more of a pocket fighter, staying in the pocket, and with that and Pitbull Cruz's style of coming to get you, it's an action pack. What you think?
Um, I like Lamont Roach in the fight.
Mm,
I think it should be a good fight. I think it's a distance fight. I think it goes the distance, but I think Roach should win.
yeah, a lot of a lot of people have it like a real 50-50 on it. What do you think about Roach just going off 140 for that fight?
I, damn. I just realized that he would be moving up again. I still like Roach, but we gotta see how he look at 140. He looked good at 35, but we just gotta see. But I think Roach is a little more skilled than Pitbull. Think he's a little bit fresher. I don't know about age, but in terms of wear and tear, I think he should win the fight. But we gotta see because Pitbull is a dog. I know that's cliche, but he a dog, and he uh he beat Raleigh up bad. You know what I mean? And Raleigh won the title at 47. So you never know how a fight turns out. But I like Lamont Roach to win the fight.
You mentioned Rolly. There was talks of Rolly possibly fighting Manny Pacquiao. Teofimo Lopez just came out saying that he might be fighting Manny Pacquiao. What do you think about Manny Pacquiao at this age fighting some of these smaller guys moving up to his division? But yeah,
Man, I don't know, man. He looked decent against Mario Barrios, but I really felt that Mario Barrios could have won the fight if he just would have just tried harder and listened. I don't really,
then he was shot starstruck.
I don't know what happened to him, man. His corner was yelling at him, stop shaking hands, let your hands go, use your jab, stop being so nice. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? I really don't. Um, I really don't know what happened, but I thought Mario started hurting Manny a little bit, but Manny had a great performance. You know what I mean? That's a unbelievable performance to be 46 years old. It really is. That's just an unbelievable performance. But Manny better be careful. He keep fighting these young guys, he gonna wind up getting clipped. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Manny got a lot of fights, a lot of wear and tear. You know what I mean? Like I saw some spots in there that'd have been a different kind of fighter. He'd have got hurt. You know what I mean? All Mario had to do in that fight was just be mean and not respecting so much. Respect him after the fight, and he could have really hurt Manny. So I thought Manny did a great job, but you know he probably playing with fire.
mm, mm. Tell me, the other Philadelphia fighter that was on the card that he fought Roman, the guy that beat Jalil Hackett. Were you able to see that fight?
Tamir Smalls.
Tamir Smalls, good fighter. Lots of people feel like he should have got the win. What's your thoughts?
It was a good fight, man. It was a good step up fight. It was a good experience for him. He did good. He still got to figure out how to get through the rounds and stuff like that. It kind of in the second half of fight seemed like he kind of like ran out of ideas a little bit. Like he was just trying to like figure out some stuff to do, and that happens to fighters sometimes. You know what I mean? Like they just like run out of ideas, and maybe he has to get a couple more 10 round fights to kind of see where he's at. But that dude he was fighting was like one of them like solid technicians where he don't do one thing great, but he does everything real good and he can kind of make you look bad. That was a good fight because he had heard the guy early and the guy just kept like pecking and poking back into the fight. And the guy got good solid fundamentals. But I thought the knockdown was the difference. Even if you thought it was 5 rounds apiece, you get an extra point for a knockdown. So I don't have a problem with Tamir winning the fight.
I like it. I like it. Um, anything going up next? Anything coming up next for you guys?
Um,
What you
I
got
just got
going on?
my local kids going November the 1st. Um,
Which ones?
uh,
Peterson?
yeah, I got Peterson going. I got a kid named Sean McCalman going. I got a kid named Dylan Price going. So everybody's in camp right now, just grinding down. With 3 weeks to go, and yeah, that's about it. So
Who's Peterson fighting? I think I seen a flyer. I think
we find a kid named Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson. What do you know about him?
He's a good fighter, man. He was undefeated at one time. He was like 7-0 one time. He was trained by, he worked with some top coaches. He's been in some good camps. It's not going to be an easy fight. This is a step up fight for Iran. I think it's going to be a tough fight, and we taking it really serious.
Mm. I never got your reaction on the Sufa belt and the new boxing league for Turkey Al Sheikh, and Dana Wright running it and stuff like that. What you like about it? Do you what you think about it? And see that when they talked about it in the post press conference with Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, he kind of said this is real boxing over here. I mean, do you feel the same? Do you feel like that's something different than real boxing?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I really don't know. I really don't know nothing about it. I don't know who signed up for it. I don't know what the prices are. I'm sorry, what the payments is going to be for the fighters. You know what I mean? I really don't know. I have no
Is that
idea.
something that you would advise some of the fighters to do for an opportunity?
I can't even say. I gotta like see it. Let's see how it works. You know what I mean? The only thing that I saw of it is that they're not gonna be like involved with belts. It's just a ring magazine belt. That's what I saw. And I think I saw that Vito Milanicki was one of the bigger name guys who signed up for it.
Vito,
Other than
okay.
that, other than that, bro, I have no idea what's going on with it. So I can't say. You know what I mean? I don't like to speak on things that I don't know about. And I heard there was some trying to amend the Ali Act. So I don't really know. You know what I mean? And I don't want to comment on something like that and say it's good or bad if I don't know anything about it.
Right. Understandable. Understandable. Um, but obviously one of the big fights that is coming up is November 22nd with Brian Norman and Devin Haney. And I see you on Twitter and you always talking about like, I don't know about this fight. You still looking at it as a 50-50 fight?
Yeah, man, I am, man. That's a hard fight to pick. I know I picked like bigger fights, which was easy, but sometimes you gotta have a clearer view of them. That's a hard fight to pick, man. Um, I don't know. That's a hard fight to pick. Some days I lean a little bit towards Devin because of his jab and his movement. And then some days I lean a little bit towards Brian because Brian is clever, man, and he got a real deceptive left hand. He finishes combinations sometimes with a jab where other guys finish it with a hook. So your hand be on this side of your face, you be waiting for the hook, and he'll just throw like a little shotgun jab at the end of his combinations after a right hand, and it has some serious steam on it. And I like Brian's maturity. You know what I mean? He's a young guy, but he talks real clear. He got a very mature persona about him, and that's important in the boxing ring. Man, that's a very important thing. He's gonna have to have a lot of composure. And then I'll go back and I'll look at Devin and I'll say, damn, I never seen Brian face a talented black fighter that's gonna be moving. He kind of faced a lot of Mexicans or non-black guys that come straight to him, and he's a strong puncher. You know, um, and then I wonder about Devin, how he's going to feel about the Ryan Garcia fight. And, you know what I mean? Is he carrying anything over from that fight and how his punch resistance is going to be? So it's a tough fight for me to pick. And I know I've been not giving you a clear cut winner on it, but I honestly, it's a tough fight for me to pick, man. I try to figure it out some days, and I don't really have a clear concept of how the fight gonna go because I'm not sure how Devin gonna take his punches. And if he fight the kind of fight he fought against Jose Ramirez, I'm wondering if he gonna be able to get the decision because Brian is better than Jose Ramirez. And people state this. I'm not a person to say it because I like boxers, but they talk about this Tom and Jerry stuff. So I don't know if that's gonna affect. I don't know if that's
Devin's
gonna.
performance.
Yeah. So that's a tough one, bro. That's a real tough one, man. It really is for me. Brian's a little bit slower than Devin. Devin might be a step ahead of him. It's little teeny things, but Brian is like calm and he, when you calm, you see things. Things slow down to you. Things slow down to you when you calm. So he might could calm him, but we haven't seen him calm anybody. Sometimes I think about the Boachuk fight, Boca Chica, whatever his name. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, you're right. Boca
I'm saying
Chica.
his name. Okay, Boca Chica. I think about that fight, and I'm like, damn, Brian struggled, got knocked down, he was hurt. You know what I mean? And Boca Chica is not on Devin's level. And then I say maybe Brian got better, which I believe he did. So I'm going all over the place with that fight. I really don't see a clear vision because I don't know where Devin is at after the Ryan Garcia fight because he's only fought once. And I think that Brian is improving, but I think that he has great matchmaking and he's been fighting non-black fighters. It's a little bit different. I don't want to keep bringing up race, but you notice it's a little different when you fighting guys standing right in front of you trying to walk you down than the guy that's giving you angles and he moving and you got to pick up your feet to catch him. That's a different fight. So I'm intrigued by the fight, but I haven't really came up with a winner. And I'm not going to just say something just because you know what I mean. I can't do that to myself. People throw this shit up in my face if I get it wrong. So I really don't have a winner for this fight.
I like it. No, no, I like it, and I see that a lot of people are talking about it. Even more than the actual main event. But Eddie Hearn has a thought process of saying, hey, Devin would could win something easy decision, or he gets knocked out. It's one of the other
It's,
type
it's
of
a
deal.
it's a it's a it's a it could be like that. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I just saw myself thinking that Brian could hurt Devin with a jab. The way he throws his jab, he thought he get a lot of leverage on his jab. I know he's a shorter guy, but he gets a lot of leverage on his jab. And Haney got a great jab, but Haney don't have great defense. There's a difference. He got a great jab and he got great legs, but he don't have what you call the best defense in the world. And I just the other day, like I was just like I was like half asleep, and I said, "Damn!" I just saw Devin get knocked down with a jab, literally. And then some days I say, "Damn, Devin gonna just box circles around him. He gonna be a step ahead of him because Devin's real good at scoring points." That's a hard fight, man. But one thing I'm gonna say, I'm impressed with both of those young men for taking that.
Big
You know what I
time.
mean? I give them guys major props for taking that fight, man. Um, um, I
I agree.
really do, man. I really give them really major props for taking that fight because Devin just got hurt real bad at 140. He's moving up to 47 to fight the biggest puncher in the division. And Brian
Confidently.
Norman Brian Norman definitely is not like Devin is mandatory. He can milk a couple of title defenses and um um he could just
And
milk
take
a
a
couple
less
of
of a
title defenses.
challenge.
Yeah. So and he's only like 23, 24. So I respect both of those young men for fighting each other, man. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about the main event though? David Benavidez versus Yardy.
Now I can see that fight clear. I like Benavidez.
You said I can see that shit clear, huh? You can see it that clear, huh?
Yeah, yep, yep. I like
Yeah.
Benavidez. I think Benavidez is a little bit too strong down the stretch. I think Yard is a little bit of a spent bullet. I think um I think he's a little bit he's good in the early rounds and he fades a little bit too much. He got the heavy muscles. I don't know if you can fight Benavidez in that shoulder roll. Um I think Benavidez is the real deal. I think Benavidez should be on the pound for pound list. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. And I think he's gonna beat Yar. I actually think he beat Viterbiev at Bivol.
That was my next one. Yeah, because he's on the card, and it seems like that's going to be the next matchup. It seems like Bevo is going to take a stay busy fight when he comes back because he just came back of back surgery, so he's not going to jump right into a better beef fight right away.
Mm.
So
Well,
you like David Benavidez in that fight.
yeah, I like Benavidez. I think Benavidez is the real deal. I do. I think he's a little bit underrated with certain things. I think his defense is better than people think it is. I think that his jab is better than people think it is. I think his instincts and his IQ is higher than people think it is. And I think he got the most fighting spirit in the world. You know what I mean? I think he
Mm-hmm.
got the most um um I think he got like when he never allows himself to like the other guy to get too much momentum in the fight. Like every time you try to get a volley going or whatever, he just boom, he just stop you like, all right, we not doing this right now. He's not gonna lose 3 rounds in a row. He's very, very the only word I could come up with is fighting spirit. He got a lot of fighting spirit. He reminded me a little bit of Holyfield in that way. And yeah, I think he's gonna beat Yard, and I would slightly favor him over Bivol and Beterbiev.
Okay. A slight. Yeah, because that's gonna be the next fight with him and Petriev, and I feel like that's gonna be able to like people are gonna really see who David Benavidez is after that fight. What would you
Yeah,
say?
I think he's gonna be too quick for Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev is
Yeah.
gonna be throwing 1 and 2 punches, and Benavidez is gonna be running off rapid fire combinations in the mid range. I think he could hurt Benavidez. Don't get me wrong, it definitely hurt him, but I think uh I think that just he just gets off a little bit too quick for Beterbiev right now. You know what I mean? From my opinion, just a little bit. Just because I think Beterbiev is the real deal, but he is 40, and I think Benavidez is a little too quick for him.
Hmm. I like it. Can't wait to see that fight November 22nd. Well, Coach, man, I really appreciate your time, man. I'll let you get going on what you got going on. I see it's getting a little dark, but appreciate you the next time, brother.
Yep. All right, bro.
Stay blessed. Smash the like button, ladies. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel. Let's see if Bernie's ready to go right now. And if he is, we rock right away. And if not, we rock, a little bit later tonight. Let's see if he's with it. But I want to get into some of these comments and then let's get with it. We'll be rocking tonight either way. But what's going on, Coda? John Parham. I got Benavides too, yeah. Benavides is a monster. And the way he's coming right now is different. Have you noticed? Have you seen the promo? Yeah, that Mexican monster. David too slow for me. Bread, you should give David a look. I'm looking for a new trainer. When can I get a trainer? I'm gonna prove I am okay. Salute to everybody. Let me see if he says this. Or yeah, he on 1,000 for real, for real. What's going on, man? My girls, we about to leave anyway. So anyway, I'ma smash this like button, right? Same way y'all should. Yo, you thought small one, Mills? Oh nah, man. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more on the next live, cause you're gonna laugh. Cause if I say it right now, you guys would just laugh and not tune into the next live. Um, but yo, I'm gonna hit y'all later in a few. We'll do a little live with Bernie later on tonight, and you already know, man. Much love, man. It's free, y'all. I'm out.